What's up, everybody? I'm Sendai Mike. I'm a recording and mixing engineer. I work with vocalists, so singers, rappers, and spoken word artists. And today we're going to talk a little bit about recording your own vocals at home and the gain staging and the levels that you have to be keeping track of when you're recording yourself in order to achieve the best possible quality recordings. This came up because I find it is a really chronic issue among people recording themselves at home, is how to set the headphone volumes, how to set your input gains, how to set your beat levels in your DAW. These are all things that are not necessarily intuitive, but are very important for achieving good recordings. And this video is actually requested to be made by my friend Nick Weaver. He is an artist that I work a lot with. And this is a guy who is selling out headlining shows in his hometown. He is doing millions of streams on Spotify. He has toured internationally. And these days, he's actually recording all of his music in his own home studio. So it's really inspiring to see him doing that. And it's exciting knowing what's possible with home recording these days. So there are three primary levels that we're going to be adjusting when we're recording ourselves. And that is the level of the instrumental in your DAW, the level of your headphone output on your interface, and the level of your input gain for your microphone on your interface. And these are three separate levels that must be managed while you're recording yourself, and they must be managed in a particular way so that you don't get clipping. So the first one, when you bring your beat into your DAW, most beats that I see when people are recording at home are coming from YouTube, they're coming from BeatStars, they're coming from the homie producer, and the beats are usually maxing out at 0 dB. And what that means is that there's zero space, there's zero volume above the peak. So the first thing you do when you bring your instrumentals into your DAW, whether it's stems or if it's a single MP3 or wave, is you're gonna wanna clip gain it down or just drag the fader down in your DAW so that it's peaking at around between -6 and -9 is a good target. There's no hard rule for this, but that's a good place to start. You can get fancy metering plugins if you want that'll give you very exact details, but just looking at the general meter on the track or the master should get you close enough. So after you've set your instrumental levels, it's time to set your headphone volume. Now that's easy, and if you watched last week's episode, maybe you've got yourself a pair of IEMs to use. So once the beat is set at that level, to set the comfortable headphone levels in your ears, rather than turning up the beat in the DAW, turn up your headphone gain or down your headphone gain on your audio interface. So now you've got a comfortable beat level in your headphones. Hopefully it's not too loud. We don't want any of that headphone bleed, but you've got a comfortable level in your headphones. A lot of people like to hear themselves really loud. Some people like to hear themselves less. You know, it's a personal preference thing. What I find is people recording themselves at home will adjust the input gain in order to hear themselves more. Now, the dangerous part about this is the input gain does not control the level you hear in your monitors only. It also controls the input level that's being recorded into your project. So if you're trying to hear yourself in your headphones, your own voice in the headphones louder, and you turn up your input gain so that you can do that, you risk clipping your audio signal, which is going to result in distortion, and it just never sounds good. Also, a lot of times with more budget, affordable interfaces, the preamps on there are not very good, and when you turn them up, it just sounds worse. So I would always recommend keeping a lower input gain. So how do we hear the voice in the headphones louder without turning up our input gain and making it clip? Well, that's not too hard. Say you want it 3 decibels louder in your headphones, go into the DAW, turn your beat down -3 dB, and then turn your headphone output up on your interface the equivalent amount so that your headphone level is still the same, but your voice volume in your headphones is going to be louder, if that makes sense. So you can turn down the beat in the DAW, turn up your headphone monitor without touching your input gain, and this is going to give you louder vocals in your headphone monitors without turning up the input gain on your interface to get the louder vocals. After you're done recording, of course, you can go and readjust the beat level and the recorded voice level to get them to sit in the mix how you want. But while you're recording, you want to be treating these as a monitor mix so that you're not blowing out any levels anywhere. I hope that was helpful. If I didn't explain anything clearly or if that got confusing, just feel free to ask questions in the comments. I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have. I'm looking forward to hearing what y'all are working on. Be well.